Hello. Okay, don't adjust your screen. I'm coming at you pretty raw today. I know I hope I look different. If I don't look different than normal, I may need to rethink my hair doing strategy because you guys, I love you so much. And I love doing live coffees with coach. Yeah, that's right. Coffees with coach. I'm only one coach, right? It's not coffee. Yeah. So I love doing this for you guys. And this was tough today. Yeah. Because life is happening. You guys have seen, I don't know if you guys remember the Sarah Uncut from last year, last July, I believe it was June, July. It's called Life Happens. You can go find it, or I'm sure we'll put it here in the show notes after I'm live today. Show notes. It's not a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Work with me. I'm having a rough time. All right. We are going to start with angel cards. Okay. I just pulled this one, not reading that one. You know, when you get the wrong one, you're like, no, that is not what we were supposed to get. This, however, makes a boatload of sense. Can you see it? You cannot. Come on, get off my face. Acceptance. Back to my face, please. Thank you. Acceptance. Are you effing kidding me? That was pretty damn great for today. So see yourself and others through the eyes of the angels with unconditional love and acceptance. In this way, you inspire and lift everyone to their highest potential. If you guys are here today, I'm a little, what is the word I want to use? Fuzzy. That's a great word. I'm glad I'm at least in focus on the camera. I'm a little fuzzy. So this is Sarah out of the shower. In case you ever wondered, I don't think you did, but just in case you did, here I am. So with the mode of acceptance, hey Zeus, is the topic of today for me. Isn't that great, Zeus? Isn't it amazing how we all go through things together? I know, it's true. It's true, right? Hey Sarah, acceptance, so good. What's up, girl? All right. So I know some people want to I want to be really careful today because I know there are people who come on and go, guys, it's so hard. Okay, I'm not going to be doing that. That's not happening here. That's not what I do. And last week was brutal. Like I'm just going to say that it was a personal level and it was absolutely gut wrenching. And I'm not saying that to be dramatic. It was horrible. Now, I can't fully tell the story. I'm not trying to be cryptic because it's not my story to tell, right? So I don't have permission to do that, so I can't. So please just know that. And here's what I'm going to say as a coach: it almost doesn't even matter, right? What matters is I woke up today fuzzy, and I made a mistake at the end of last week because I was doing so many things. I forgot to do something, which it's pretty rare, right? I don't do that even when life gets hard, and that's what that Sarah Uncut was about. Is like, listen, life happens sometimes, and this is the Sarah Walton way. I'm not saying anyone has to do this the way I do it, right? You got to find your own way to go through hard times. But what happens out there in the interwebs that so upsets me as a coach. Sorry, one of my fake eyelashes is falling off. It's driving me crazy. Oh, I think I got it. I should make a wish. Anyway, yeah. So I see out there the coaches. This is my favorite. It's not off yet. This is my favorite. Like their phone's here. Guys, I just didn't feel like coaching today. So I canceled all my clients. And they were so great about it. And I just hope the next time you feel tired or life is hard that you don't work. Okay. Okay. No, I'm going to say no. And I don't usually do that. And I'm not saying that to make fun. I know that's a cool trend out there. I don't feel like it today, the whole quiet quitting thing, all the things that are happening. And I get it. There's a lot in corporate America. I truly understand. I have a lot of empathy for. That being said, every single one of us has a chance to be a role model at all times. And as life is happening and it's hard, the rest of life keeps going. And the people who need us still need us. Now we can communicate out. Oh my gosh, I'm going to need a hot second here. We can communicate that out. And usually when we do, it's very well received, but it's very well received when it's rare, right? It's not, you can do that every week. That's not how that's going to work, right? And it's appropriate for us to rest. And what I will say, for me, this week has been, I'll list the emotions. Maybe you can relate, right, Zeus? This one's for you. Yeah. Maybe you guys can relate to this, but massive disappointment. Just that feeling of my life's not supposed to go that way. What? No, that resistance we have when you're just nope, not for me. Thanks though. Can someone take this back, please? That kind of feeling. I think people get that with diagnoses, right? That happens a lot. No, not me, right? Or someone you love gets hurt or they hurt themselves or they do something wrong. And you're like, no, 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 no. That kind of a feeling, right? So I experienced that deep, deep level of disappointment of like, no, not going this way, right? And I have no control over it. So it's kind of like I can say that as much as I want. I got to deal with accepting what's so, yeah. Okay. Frustration that I can't fix it in 20 minutes. 20 minutes, please. Thank you. I'd like the order that comes in 20 minutes of fixing everything. Yeah. Um, Heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken, like sobbing, heartbroken, like what just happened, right? That kind of a feeling. Maybe you've had that. And a lot of times, you guys, so I'm talking about something that's happened in my personal life, but it could be something that happens in your business too. I know we've all had that, right? You do all the right things, you put in all the stuff, you take all the courses, you make all the plans, you do the manifestation, you do the things, and it's like, nope. Right? And you're like, but and that could be heartbreaking. That can be that experience of heartbreak, right? I've been angry. And we all know anger is the flip side of fear, right? I've been really angry. Like, what? Like that kind of like, no feeling you feel like in the movies. No, like that kind of a feeling, right? And I'm exaggerating, but I think we all know these feelings. Yeah. And today I really wanted to share them with you because I go through them. This one is particularly mind blowing, but we go through these moments. We all do. And I never want to be the type of coach where you're like, I can't tell Sarah that. She doesn't know what that's like. Yeah, huh? If you're breathing, you know. If you have ambition, you know. If you really want to create something, you're going to be disappointed along the way. There's no way out of that. That's part of the journey. And we want to remember that. So today I thought I'd live coach myself. I hope it goes well. Cross your fingers for me. No, but today I'm going to live coach myself because I want you guys to know what I do. And I have not done this with myself yet around this specific situation because I wanted to do it with you. I was trying to prepare for coffee with coach and my brain was in 45,000 places. And I was like, I'm just going to show up. I know you can't see me, but I'm in jeans and a t-shirt and I got out of the shower. You're welcome. Sorry about that. And here I am because this is what life looks like when it's working. Right? Because if it doesn't look like this, we got nothing. And sometimes it looks amazing too. So don't be despaired about that. So there's kind of something I like to do. It's called wallowing. That was a funny sentence to come out of my face. Anyway, but it's wallowing, right? But you have to wallow with intention. And I'm a big believer too in the movement of emotion through our bodies, right? So sometimes people shake or they cry or they yawn, or sometimes people laugh a lot. So I like to kind of include some of that. And that's why I said I cried, like gut wrenching cry, because that helps. Like that's appropriate to do when we're upset. There's nothing bad about that. That's a fantastic thing to do. And Dr. Peggy DeLong always tells us there's toxins in those tears that we got to get out. You always feel better. So I do wallow, but I'm a coach. So there's parameters on it, right? And not like I shove down feeling. But usually 20 minutes of absolute wallowing, you'll be good. If you need an hour, take it. But if you focus only on wallowing, on what you're disappointed about and how unfair this is and what BS and why me and I do everything right and all the things you want to say that you don't ever say, do it. Do it. And in about 3 minutes, you'll be bored, but give yourself 20 to just wallow the crap out of it. And that I did do before I got on with you, which is why I look like this. I was like, you know what? Let me get the wallowing over. They don't want to see me wallow. I wallowed. I talked to myself, this is unfair. This is total crap. How could this happen? I thought I was good at this, like all the things that we say, right? And I did that. I did that. It was a good time. But I feel better. I don't think I could have done coffee with coach had I not done that. I just don't think I would have had the emotional capacity to be here with you guys. So we have to clear that out. Now, the next thing that is really important to me, now this is my job, right? My job is to say to you guys, these are the tools one uses to move your business and your life forward, period. Right? That's why I'm an intuitive business coach because I have this I love to study. I'm a little bit crazy that way, but I have like this library of tools I can pick up at any time to work on with you. Right? And the tool that I'm going to pick up today is kind of a triangle. Okay. And I might say some things. If you don't understand what I'm saying, please say something. Okay. Because I do want this to be clear because some of it you might be like, wait, what? But it sinks in and it makes sense. Let's see. Megan says we're here with me. Thank you, Megan. And thank you, Sarah. I'm happy to be here. And yes, life refuses to stop and let us do the work sometimes. Huge appreciation. Thanks, guys. Yeah. And I will be as vulnerable as possible. I promise. And if this was totally my story, I'd tell you everything. Right. But we always, and I say that about coaches or anybody who's doing video, please do not tell other people's stories. It's not our place. And there's no integrity in that. So do not do that to the people that you love and adore. Okay. Um, so there's kind of there's three pillars to this triangle I talked about. Okay. I'm just going to say them and then I'm going to walk you through what they are and I'll do it with myself as well. Okay. So there's our beliefs and our focus. And you guys know I get pissed off when people are like, what you focus on expands? Because it's so important. Like I cannot express how critical it is that we understand what we're focusing on. Right. And what we focus on tends to be delivered by our beliefs. Again, I'll dive into that more in just a minute. The next thing that is at play is our physiology, how we're actually feeling, right? So, my experience over starting on Wednesday night, right? My experience has been a tight chest, like a hot stomach. You guys know that of like, those sorts of feelings. It's my physiology, right? I didn't sleep very well because I was worried, right? So that physiological changes that happen, right? So then you show up at coffee with coach with no makeup and wet hair. Physiology. All right. And then the other one is language and meaning. All right. So we have beliefs, focus, physiology, language, and meaning. All right. So let's start with the beliefs and the focus. All right. Because I'm sure you guys have done this. Let's say I'm going to just make something up. Let's pretend you're an actor, right? And you're about to go on stage. If you're focusing on, oh my God, my armpits are going to sweat. That's mine, by the way. If you've ever seen me speak, I always wear black. Now you know. Anyway, yeah. Okay. But let's say you're going to go on stage, right? And you're like, I'm going to flub this line. I'm going to flub this line. I'm going to flub this line. I'm not going to say it right. I'm not going to say it right. I'm not going to say it right. And you're focused on that, right? What do you think is going to happen when you go out on stage, right? Because that's where your focus is. It's everything. But behind that is a belief, I'm going to mess this up. I'm going to screw this up. And that belief is running the focus, right? Because now you're focused on where you could possibly mess it up, right? Because we're dealing with that belief. And this is why we coaches are like, what are your limiting beliefs? Do you know what they are? Do you know where they are? Like that, right? So when I look at the last week, my beliefs are, oh my God, this is permanent. This is never going to change. What the hell can I do? I can't do anything. That was the focus when my stomach was hot and my chest was tight and I wasn't sleeping. This is totally out of my control. How do I get the control back? I must be in control. And I realized that's one of my beliefs. As I live coach myself with you guys right now, that is one of my beliefs. I must be in control. Well, that is not possible right now. That's really hard for me. Right. So it's like, ooh, new limiting belief for me to work on. And we'll talk about how to do that in just a second. But that is clearly a limiting belief to work on because it's causing me a lot of pain right now because I can't. Right. So really releasing that. And I'm a big believer in surrender. If you guys haven't heard me talk about nudges and my stepmother's story, that's basically a version of surrender. Right. I didn't know why I was having these ideas to go there and do stuff. We'll put a link to that Sarah Uncut under this video as well. It's called When Three People Tell You You're Drunk, Lie Down. Anyway, it's a form of surrender. But so for me, I'm going to work on the limiting belief of I must be in control. That's impossible anyway, right? I mean, we all know that. 2020 taught us that. But for me, I didn't realize how deeply seated it was for me. And then the focus is, but I have to, but I have to, but I have to, but I have to, that would make anyone miserable, right? So that's me looking at that. So if you are stuck in something right now, I want you to pay attention. What are you focusing on? And what is the belief behind it? Because we can change that real quick. What if the focus instead was, you know what? I'm going to absolutely trust the person in control to do the very best that they can. Shit. Sorry. I immediately feel lighter. I just said that out loud for the very first time. I had no idea I was going to say that. And I feel better. I already feel better. Like, what if I trust the person who has the control to do the absolute best they can? It's like, oh, what if I believe I will be there for them every step of the way? Oh, well, that's better. Oh my God, literally my chest isn't as tight now. You got it? So I want you guys to pull that into yourselves. Is there something you've been disappointed about or something you're struggling with? Yeah, I'm seeing some things come in. Zoo says, I was just Googling the exact meaning of wallowing. And this is, I guess, quite fitting. Yeah, chiefly of large to roll about or lie about in mud or water, especially to keep cool or to avoid biting insects. I like it. Yeah, we've taken that from pigs. basically, and we've talked about it as in the form in English, right, Zeus? In American English especially. I think no, I think they do it in England as well to wallow. Yeah, is the idea that you're rolling around in your own mud, right? You're just sitting in it and feeling like crap. Yeah, that's really great. Hey. Hi, Kate. Hey, Janet. Good to see you. Well, see your fit. You know what I mean. Hi, welcome. All right. So the next part of our triangle is language and meaning. Now, if you guys have ever heard me talk about language, it is our one of our oh god, there's so much I want to say so fast. Sorry, and I am still a little fuzzy. But we are the only species on planet Earth at this time that has both verbal and written language, right? But we're going to stay in the realm of verbal right now for the points of this exercise because we all talk to ourselves all day. More accurately, our ego talks to us all day, right? Like that's a more accurate description of what's happened. If you guys have been with me for a while, you know I call her Scarlet and she's kind of a meanie. Right. So we have that coming in all day, that language. So if you've ever heard me talk about this before, I'll talk about a three-legged dog. You guys ever seen a three-legged dog? Do you see the joy? Do you see the joy on a three-legged dog? Could you imagine if a three-legged dog had a human brain? It would be like, oh man, it's so unfair. I mean, they get to run around all day. I'm stupid wheel behind me. It's not fair. I remember when I had four legs. It was so great. I could run. Stupid. I'm different from everybody. They're all going to hate me. Everybody's going to think if the dog had a human brain, that's what would happen, right? That's language. And that language is creating meaning. But the three-legged dog does not have language. Have you ever seen them? Makes me want to cry. Sheer joy. Absolute joy, exquisite happiness, like love everywhere. They don't even notice. They might notice, but they don't tell themselves a story about it. Because what language does is it locks a moment in. That's why we don't have any memories before we had language, because you couldn't lock in either a great moment or a sad moment. That is incredibly powerful. So if we're not aware that that's happening, all the damage that can be done, right? Somebody gives you a look, you're like, oh my God, I must be stupid. Well, boom. You just made a look mean that you're stupid. You did it through language. Now it's locked in. It's incredibly powerful, right? And then I talked to you guys last month about attaching pleasure and pain to those very ideas that get locked in through language. It's incredibly powerful. So if I'm sitting here go, oh, I can't control this. This is not the way my life was supposed to look. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? If I'd been better, like all the things that we say to I would assume I'm not alone. We're all telling the truth here today, right? Like that, those things get and then we make meaning about it. Maybe I'm just a bad person. Maybe I deserve this. Maybe I'm being punished. Maybe this is a blessing. Maybe this is a challenge, right? You can make up whatever you want. But if you aren't aware of the stories you're telling yourself through language and the meaning you're creating when you're disappointed, you're in for a world of hurt because you start to make pain and pleasure associations about things that are not necessarily truly pleasurable or truly painful. And you can start down a path of madness, literally, right? And the example I always use is heroin. And I'll use it every day, all day. It freaking works. That's why people are addicted to it. You feel like crap, do some heroin. Oh my God, that worked. And now you've associated something deadly to something pleasurable. That can lead to madness. You see what I'm saying? Right? So that's why we wallow first, Suze. So we feel it. Don't be afraid of your feelings. Your feelings can never hurt you. They're just feelings. And then the way that you talk to yourself about those feelings is everything. And what you can do is if you notice the language is taking you down a dangerous path, switch the focus. That's why this is a triangle, right? So we got beliefs and focus over here. We got language and meaning over here. We got to start seeing what's happening here between these different sides of the triangle. Got it? And then the very, very most basic thing we can do to switch how we're feeling in a moment is to switch our physiology. So if you guys have worked with me for a while, you know, I'll tell you to stand up or sit down or clap or ask yourself an insane question. Like, I wonder how many snails I'd eat before I throw up. Like seriously, and then all of a sudden, what happened? Your focus went somewhere else and you start to feel better. It's bananas. And again, I will never say ignore what you're feeling and just go watch movies all day. Sometimes we need to heal that way, but it's pretty rare. Most of the time you can take a deep breath, you can wallow for a few minutes and then start to look at what am I making this mean? How am I talking to myself about this? What am I focusing on? And what must I believe to keep that the focus? And then how can I take the best care of myself possible? And that last one for women especially, really important, really important. Somebody actually asked me, even just yesterday, it was like, but how are you doing? How are you doing? And I was like, honestly, right now I'm coming second, right? I'm not hanging out. I didn't do my hair for you guys, right? I'm coming in second, right? I am. Not second to the point that I'm like, I'm doing heroin or smoking cigarettes or eating like crap or intentionally not sleeping or drinking. I'm not doing any of that. I'm eating very well. I'm sleeping as much as I can. I'm taking really good care of myself. And in this moment, some things are going to go, right? Because what's at hand is more important. Does that make sense? So we can go through this a different way. And that's kind of maybe that's my equivalent. Like I said, you guys sort of pull this towards you and think about how you deal with grave disappointment or sadness or upset. Like that's my version of sitting in front of TV all day, right? It's like I'll show up without my hair done, but I'm not going to not show up. Right. And for other people, it's like I'll show up when I'm pretty, but I need to watch the movies first. Right. And that's okay. But what I want you to look for is how long you're checking yourself out of the game because that matters. It really, really matters. And you can put yourself back in the game based on what you focus on and what you're believing and what you're telling yourself, right? Can you see the pattern here? So if you are finding you can't even focus on what you're focusing on, like you can't pull that out, which sounds funny, but you can't. Sometimes you're just like, I don't even know what I'm thinking. That can happen, right? In those moments, we have to address physiology, right? So in those moments, drink a huge glass of water, go for a 3-minute walk. It doesn't have to even be a 10-minute walk, but you're shifting your body. You're shifting your physiology, and that really, really matters. And that allows you to start to think differently and breathe differently, right? Have you guys ever heard of, hey, Kate, sorry, I just saw something here. I had a week last week when everything went wrong, and it takes a lot of courage to surrender and then start again. That's right. It does. And it takes focus, right? It takes focus and a shift in physiology. You guys ever heard of what is it? 434 breathing? I think that's it. Oh my God. If you are a PTSD therapist, please correct me. But it's like you breathe in for 4, you hold for 3, you breathe out for 4. That is so powerful. So what I'd love to do with everybody, because I promised I'd do this with myself, with you guys today, is just do it right now. Just put down your pen for a sec. I mean, write down 434. It's a good thing to know. I'm pretty sure that's right. Some people say 444. I like 434. Whatever. Just breathe differently for a sec with me. So you do breathe in, count of 4, hold for 3, and out for 4. You feel that? Is that amazing? Is that amazing? And all it is oxygen. But we need that. And that breath of oxygen in shifts your physiology. And once you shift your physiology, you can start to see things differently. You can't do it if you stay the same. You just can't because you get stuck in a pattern. One of my favorite things to do this with is, do you guys have a friend? I bet you do. We all have the friend. You know the friend who calls and goes, hi. And you go, what's going on? Oh my God, so much. I mean, the mailman didn't deliver my mail. And like, oh my God, my boss is just, and I can't. And like, and you're like, I did we have this call yesterday? Do you know what I mean? Like we all have a friend like this. Sometimes maybe you're the friend, right? Like we all have someone who's like that. The best thing you can do is interrupt that. Literally, if someone's in the middle of that, go, oh my God, did you see Snoopy on the middle of Times Square yesterday? And you're like, oh my God, I'm being so rude. But it interrupts the pattern. Then they'll go, what? And they'll forget what they were saying. Just watch it. And if you're my client, you know I've done this to you. Sorry, but it works. Right? Because we got to break these thought patterns that are making meaning, that are choosing what we believe, that are choosing what we focus on, that are keeping us in the same physical state. Pretty cool, right? This is really powerful work. And listen, even as we're talking, I mean, I'm still sad. I still wish this hadn't happened, right? I still wish there was another way that this could have gone, and I can't change that. So, what I am going to focus on as of today's Coffee with Coach, and you have my word on this, and all of you that I get to meet with this week, hold me accountable, just like I hold you accountable. But like this idea that I'm going to be focusing on how well I can show up. How much can I be there? Not to my own detriment. Please don't hear that like, I'm not going to sleep and I'm going to, that's not what I'm saying. How can I pull the best of myself to this situation? And by the way, that will probably include a little bit of extra sleep, more water than normal, probably a couple of extra walks every day, even if it's just 2 or 3 minutes, because I have a whole team that needs Sarah to show up. And I don't want to not show up for them. I might be slower than normal, and I bet they'll get that. but I don't want to not show up. That doesn't work for me. So I want to focus on that. And it doesn't mean I'm ignoring this. It means I'm saying, listen, this is happening. How do I want to show up? That's going to be an extraordinary amount of self care, probably more self care than I'm used to on the daily right now. I mean, I have my trainer, I go for my morning walks, I do that, but that's been knocked around quite significantly. So it's going to take something for me to actually figure out how to do that. Does that make sense? Right? It's probably going to be also on my end, maybe a little bit more extra time on this, right? More time on this triangle, more time. Whoa, I'm starting to slip. Time to get up for a walk, right? It's going to take a little bit more time and attention probably than I'm used to. And the other thing I know to do really well is zero junk food. And we've been doing really well on that so far. I've had a couple people like, I don't eat meat. I've had a couple people bring me burgers and fries. I mean, like, oh, comfort food. And I'm like, thank you. You know what I mean? I'm like, thank you so much. It's like, no, because I've been eating salads and, I eat salmon because I have to because my protein's low. I don't love to do it, but I do because it keeps me healthy, right? So, it's going to take more work to do that. It's probably going to be me showing up without my hair done and no makeup. It's frightening. I know. You're welcome. Welcome to my world of nudeness. Yeah, but this is what life looks like sometimes, you guys. And as a coach, there's so much dangerous my life is perfect all the time kind of stuff. Or I have technology to get myself out of anything in 3 minutes. Maybe, maybe some coaches do have that. But I think when we love deeply, when we have big ambition, when we have huge goals, when we've chosen to connect ourselves to human beings that could possibly hurt us, we're going to get knocked around sometimes. That's what it is to be alive. It's like, what are we going to pretend that's not part of the joy and excitement and happiness and pleasure of helping other people with our work? That would be weird. It would also be a lie. When we want a big life, disappointment and heartbreak are inevitable. It's like somebody says, "Oh, I want to be so in love and I want somebody to like rub my back when life is hard and I'm sad." And they're talking like that, but I don't ever want to be hurt. It's like, well, then you can't have that. That is, I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's like you can't because it means you're not really involved if you can't be hurt. That's not the way that works. And I'm sure we've all felt this in our businesses, right? I know I have, where it's like you pour your heart and soul into sharing something or launching something or doing something, and people are like, yeah, I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. And then what do I say to you guys? That's a marketing problem, right? That's a language problem. It's a communication problem. But it's the same here with us, right? We go through these moments of disappointment. We go through sadness. We go through heart, anger, rage, whatever you want to like call it, right? Because they're all different. Is you got to look at your language. At some point, you're going to go, oh, I have a language problem right now because I am beating the crap out of myself. Or I'm feeling like there's no hope. Or I am treating my body like a garbage disposal. Those are all things that are really important for us to pay attention to when we're living a big life. All right, go back. 778, Janet, is that the breathing? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. Kate, I'm so glad it's helpful. And Lily says, how well can I show up? I love that. I love that. And Kate said, I sat here eating my lunch as I'm watching with a rainbow salad. That's awesome, Kate. Way to go. I love that you're doing that. That's so good. And Megan says, you're gorgeous, Sarah. Don't even give it a second thought. You're nice. I'm hitting the middle age and makeup is my best friend. But I love you, Megan. I love you for that. And Megan's my video editor. So if you can make me look better later, that'd be great. If not, we're calling this one raw. It's all good. You know what? Sometimes we just look like this. I look like this every day before I put on 85,000 pounds of makeup. It's hard to be this white. It's not fun. I'll just say that right now. Anyway, that's what I've got for you guys today. It is 10:29. Do you have questions? Do you have thoughts? Was this helpful? Was this something that you think the next time this stuff hits the fan, you can come back to this video and remember this triangle and get yourself back on track? It's not going to be perfect. And I'm not going to say to you, oh, the second you do this, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Instead, how can you show up? How can you be a role model? What's going to make you feel amazing? And even though you may come in second or third, how can you continue to take good care of yourself in the ways that matter the most? Yeah. All right. Kate says this was perfect timing as always, Sarah. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad I decided to be honest today. This was a last night call. I was like, forget it. I'm just going on. Megan says, incredible. Love the triangle. I think especially those of us who work alone at home all day fall victim to this so often. It is so true, Megan. It really is. Um, and I'm going to tell you guys that working from home, like not, could you imagine? I'm just going to say something. Could you imagine if I didn't have coffee with coach to do this morning? Do you know where my head would be right now? Right? I would have this. But do you know how much easier it is to deal with this knowing you guys are all here with me? Do you know what I mean? And I hope you guys feel the same way. You guys, this is why I do groups. I hope you hear me when I say that. This is why I've created the group programs. And if your budgets are tight, if you are feeling like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know," get in a sprint. Get in a sprint. It is the least expensive way to work with me by far. And we do this. We show up every Tuesday and we do this. And I created it because of moments like this. These are real. This isn't BS. I'm not blowing smoke up your rear end. It happens to me too, and we need each other. I'm going to really encourage you to come and be with me. Don't go through stuff like this alone. It's too much. It's too much, and you'll give up on your dreams. And I cannot have that stand. That is just not what we're here to do. Deal? All right, you guys. I love you to bits. Let's kick some assets this week. If you are a client or a student, I might show up looking like this a couple times this week. I'm sorry. I love you. But what's most important is you get the coaching you need, you get the support you need, you get the love you need, and you keep taking the very best next step for you. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you next month. Bye.